Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, if you have been taught to push through, carry everyone, and ignore your limits in the name of strength, then you already know that the idea of burnout is absolutely real and definitely possible. Most of us are not exhausted because we are weak. Most of us are exhausted because we have been over functioning for years, pouring out more than we ever refill, and then blaming ourselves when our bodies finally tell us it's had enough. Yeah. So this video is a quick one about understanding that one, burnout is exactly real, understanding why it is real, understanding how the messaging that human beings don't burn out is dangerous, and understand what your body is telling you when it starts to shut down. If you are new here, my name is Rashni Cope, aka Glamazini. I am a certified life coach. I'm also a content creator. I help Black women heal, amplify their gifts, and create lives they love that wildly love them back. Welcome. I am in a new space. Okay. I look a little orange on the screen, but we're going to figure it out from glory to glory. Let's get into it. The other day, I'm on the plane, right? I got my headset in, the tray table's down. I'm settling in after days of being stuck traveling with the government shutdown. Yeah. And so I pull up an episode of Diary of a CEO, and there's a guest on there, and her name is Natalie Dawson. I have no idea who this woman is. I still don't really know who she is. It was really nebulous. I listened to the entire episode. She's a woman that makes people millions of dollars. She has a bunch of businesses. That's all I got. Okay. She was talking about performance and discipline and all of the things. And I was just kind of listening on the plane and doing what I do. And then she said something that made me blink a few times. And I was like, girl, what are you even talking about? And this is what she said. Quote, working hard is the most important thing. You cannot get where you want to go without working hard. Never burnout inducing, though. That sounded fine. That sentence. Back to her. That is the misconception about hard work. You are not a candle. You can't burn out. A human being cannot burn out because you are not a candle. You can feel moments of pressure or stress, yes, but that's not burnout. End quote. This woman said, a human being cannot burn out. Y'all, I paused the video and ran that thing back just to make sure I had heard what she said. The second time around, it hit even harder. I was like, girl, what are you even talking about? Okay. And when I went to do this video, I went back to get her name off of the video, and I went in the comment section and I realized that I was not the only person that had the experience I had with that entire episode of Diary of a CEO. It was not just me, okay? And also judging by the number of mental health clinicians, trauma therapists, and burnout specialists that I have now seen on the internet, clipping that exact part of the video and responding to it, I know that I was not the only person that had all kind of red flags flying up when I heard that come out of this woman's mouth. The messaging of saying that is just not just incorrect, it's a dangerous message. It's a dangerous message. And it's definitely not for us. It's definitely not for us Black women, okay? When someone who has a large platform or a bunch of money, lives in capitalism, and fits all of the hierarchical standards, confidently declares that burnout isn't real, the people who are exhausted start to think maybe something's wrong with me because she has all the trappings of success and I'm over here burnt out, right? Black women, caregivers, mothers, daughters, aunties, healers, leaders. We hear stuff like that and we can think, well, then why the hell am I falling apart? Why I feel so burnt out? I might not be a candle, but I'm burnt the hell out. Okay. And because many of us were raised in these systems to override our pain, override our physical sensations, override our need for rest, and to perform strength, to pretend like we're okay, and then to blame ourselves instead of questioning the message. I need to do this video to counterbalance. Here's the truth. A human being can absolutely burn out. A young, rich, white woman telling you who I think I saw online, I don't know this to be true, and I don't feel like looking it up, who has a upbringing of privilege, not like high privilege, but privilege enough, and then married into extreme privilege, which she did suggest was a thing on the video, but I don't have the data, so I don't even want to look it up, okay? A person like that telling you, right, that burnout is not real, she is not living the same life as the rest of us, and she's unaware of that. Right? She's not making the same choices on a day to day. She's not carrying the same loads. I listened to the entire episode, so I didn't just listen to snippets. And the worldview behind most of her statements were very, very clear. This woman is operating inside of a version of capitalism where pushing past your limits is actually celebrated, rewarded, and normalized. She is suggesting that you do it. Remember on her quote, the first thing she said is working hard is the most important thing. And that was not an isolated quote. She said that the whole video. I couldn't believe what I was listening to. Anyway, and honestly, I couldn't believe Steven had her on there because I actually trust Steven with I don't always watch his episodes, but for the most part, he does tend to have great guests and great interviewing skills. So I was like, sir, but sometimes things slide through the cracks. There's also decades of research that show that when people make antisocial choices steeped in capitalist systems, meaning they do things like prioritize money, output, profit, and personal advancement over human well being, they can rise faster in these systems, which is all she sounded like to me, and which is how we in the administration politically that we're in right now, right? Studies in behavioral economics and organizational psychology and leadership show that when people are willing to suppress empathy, they actually perform better in environments that are built on things like competition. People who value productivity over people are often rewarded with things like promotions and visibility and financial gain because these systems are not built in our favor, you guys. These systems measure worth by output, right? And they tend to evaluate humans who can detach from their humanity as positive. So, in other words, you can actually win in a capitalist system by disconnecting from your humanity and the needs of other people. The question I would pose is, do you actually want that? Like, do you want to succeed by abandoning the parts of you that make you a human being, that make you grounded, empathetic, present, connected, creative, and whole? Do you want to model a life where rest is dismissed, emotions are liabilities, and burnout is just simply in your mind? It's a mindset. Hmm? The evidence is also extremely clear on the other side. Things like chronic stress raises inflammation in the body, it raises blood pressure, it throws your cortisol out of whack. Burnout changes the structure of the human brain, including the prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking part, the executive functioning, and the amygdala, which is your fight, flight, alarm system. Emotional exhaustion can weaken your immune system and increase vulnerability to illnesses. Marginalized communities. We experience compounded burnout because, as I have said, the systemic inequities, things like over caretaking, hyperindependence, cultural expectations, systemic expectations, and survival demands will contribute to greater experiences of burnout. Sis, your burnout is not imaginary. Your burnout is physiology. Your burnout is a human cost of systems that are designed for you to not thrive. So, yes, a person can succeed financially by ignoring these things. She's not wrong, but they will pay for it somewhere else. They're going to pay for it in their relationships, their health, their nervous system, their sense of self, their joy, and their longevity. Capitalism will absolutely reward you for abandoning yourself in this type of mindset. So, when somebody says aloud with their mouth that a human being cannot burn out, this is what I hear them saying. I hear them saying, I build my life around a system that benefits me for ignoring my humanity, and you should ignore yours too. No. I'm not abandoning my humanity to mimic somebody else's unsustainable model of success. I don't care how many millions of dollars they have. I don't want that. I want a life I love that loves me back. I want a nervous system that feels safe. I want relationships that are grounded and reciprocal. I want success that I don't have to pay for with my health and my joy. I want a life that requires rest, that has regulation and boundaries. I don't want to put a video on the internet and have hundreds of thousands of people asking if I'm a robot and if I'm AI. That requires being human. That requires honoring your body, honoring signs of burnout, and not pretending or even saying aloud that it doesn't exist. Burnout is what happens when you are consistently giving out more than you put in. It happens when your output stays high and your input stays low, and your nervous system can no longer compensate for that. It happens when you normalize living in a survival mode, and we call that resilience and we applaud it. It's not a personality issue. It's not a mindset flaw. It's not a lack of hustle. It's biology. It's physiology. It's psychology. Okay. It's theologies. Burnout shows up in people's hormones. It shows up in people's sleep cycles. It shows up in people's immune system. It shows up in their memory. It shows up in their ability to executive function. It shows up in their ability to regulate their emotions, in patience, in your ability to create, how motivated you feel, in your capacity in life in general. It shows up as anxiety, as numbness, irritability, depression, chronic pain, fatigue, a sense of dread, like somebody sitting on your chest. It's not a weakness. It's not in your head. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of character. It's real. Human beings can be burned out. After years of overfunctioning that is praised, rewarded, and expected, especially of Black women, burnout can happen just par for the course. This woman didn't say this, but I'm going to add this. Our exhaustion as Black women is often treated like a footnote. Our tiredness is often labeled as attitude. Our breaks are seen as optional. Our rest is seen as an inconvenience. The system is often built on our back. We're supposed to come rescue everybody. So when she said a human being cannot burn out, what she is saying is really a reflection of a worldview of privilege, one that assumes that a life that has rest is accessible to everyone and that responsibilities are equitably shared and that danger is low and that support is available and consistent. And that's not everybody's lived reality. We burn out because we are raising children with complex special needs. We burn out because we are caring for sick parents and we are also working full time. We burn out because we are surviving systems like racism, sexism, medical trauma, church trauma, patriarchy. We burn out because we are carrying the emotional labor of entire households, cities, countries, right? We burn out because we got to be soft and strong. The world wants us to be the backbone and the cushion. Which one you want, right? So a human being can actually burn out, especially when that human being has been doing the work of three people with the resources of one, so that you can do the work of half of a person with the resources of seven people. Burnout is real, it is measurable, it has symptoms, and it has consequences. Burnout deserves care and support and honest conversation, not dismissal from people whose realities do not match our own. When your body says you're done, believe it. When your mind feels foggy, believe it. When your emotions feel stretched thin, believe them. When your spirit feels heavy, listen to it. Your body is not betraying you, your body is protecting you. You are not a machine, you are not a product. A human being with a nervous system needs care, recovery, and rhythm. Burnout is not a failure. It is a signal. It is a message to you from you. It is a request. And the more we learn to honor that request, the more we can step into healing and creating a realistic life that we love, that loves us back. If you are running on empty and notice that you actually are experiencing symptoms of burnout, sis, your body's just telling you the truth. You can come and get support and structure and learn to live a different way. I have a virtual planning retreat. It is called Create Your Life Virtual Planning Retreat. I run it twice a year. I've done it with hundreds of women over the years. And in it, I help Black women rebuild their lives from a place of enoughness, right? And nervous system safety. You get a full week of self-paced content designed to help you create a life based off of answering the question, who am I? And not just a bunch of arbitrary stuff. In that week, we have 4 group Zoom Q&A calls to help you in the planning phase. And then after that, there are 10 months of group accountability calls. There's healing, structure, and support from other women who are growth minded, who are creating lives that they love, that love them back. The next cohort starts on December 12th. Oh, I forgot my cute little banner. I'm always forgetting my banner. There's my banner. And you can find out more, read the testimonials, etc. at bit.ly/virtual planning retreat. Be well, you guys. Be encouraged. Keep creating and stop listening to people saying crazy stuff, even if they make a bunch of money. Girl, what? Mm, here's a pineapple. Bye.